Hello YouTubers, got my leg vise here. This is the one that I made the mounting bracket for and the contraption to hold that on and the spring. I'm going to be taking this to Quad State and it's going to be for sale. It works real nice. I'm going to put it on one of my mobile leg vices or mobile leg vise stands, and I'm going to have those for sale as a kit, and I thought I'd do a video on how to put one together. Let's start with the wheels. Okay, the wheels. You will be getting 4 of these rims, 2 for each wheel, and I made a jig to bend these, and you will be getting 2 of these wheels which go around the rim and will be welded onto it. Get 2 of those. We're going to show you how to do this. I made a plate to set down underneath the bottom rim, and that will hold it. So there's just about an 1/8 inch of this rim here sticking out on the other side, and then I cut 3 little pieces of tubing to set on here, spaced out. That is to set this rim on, and it'll give me the same spacing from the rim to the outside of the wheel. Let me make a little room here. Then what I've done is I've just got a regular old ratchet strap. Just a chintzy one. What I did was hook this together, wrap it around here, and put it in the ratchet strap, you know, just like you do with when you're strapping something down. And I try to pull it as tight as I can. And then I start ratcheting. As soon as the ratchet catches, then I go around and make sure that it's pretty much centered on the wheel. I keep this up here and flat so that it doesn't get twisted as it's going in there, because you're going to need every bit of space you can get. Then I got my dead blow hammer. Get everything down tight. Now, this wheel part, I measured as a 12-inch diameter wheel, and I figured out the circumference, and I cut my pieces to that length. Well, I think I needed to add the thickness of the wheel, because it's coming up about a 1/4 inch short. So I'm going to make some new ones, and those will be the ones I sell with the kit. But I've made one of these wheels already, and I just filled that gap with weld, which isn't very fun. So what I do is I get it all set where I want it. Then I'm going to go around and tack, just tack a spot, and then go down through to the bottom rim and tack a spot. It doesn't matter here, but I'm trying to keep the 2 halves of the rim so they're straight across from each other. So I'm going to get my welding gear on here and tack those real quick. Now, this part of the rim from about here to here is not tight yet. I will show you how I tighten that up. Let's tack this in place. Okay, I went to the store the other day, Menards, and I was going to get one of those strap clamps. They're rather expensive, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but some of the spots where I tack welded, this is already starting to melt. So you don't want to spend a lot of money on a good clamp that possibly is going to get rumped while you're doing this. So, okay, I use my great big clamp here. And I put it clear out here on, so about half the clamp is off the one end of that wheel. That way I can get it pulled clear up against the rim. Get it good and tight. Now I'm going to tack that side right up against that rim. Now we'll just do that to the other side. So there's the wheel, but you can see there's about a 1/4 inch gap there, so I'm going to make those just a little bit longer. So the next step, I'm going to just, at each one of those spokes, I'm going to put a good weld all the way around before I weld that. This is the part that gets to be kind of a pain, trying to fill that gap. Let's take this out to my grinding area outside. There's what the weld looks like after I've got it filled in. Let's go clean it up. Okay, I got my face shield on. Got my big angle grinder. It'll make short work of this. Now we'll clean it up and smooth it out with the flat disc. Now we'll just let her cool off. And that's 2 tires, or 2 wheels, I guess, done. We need hubs for in there, and I've got some tubing for that. Let's go take a look at that. What I have is some tubing that is DOM tubing drawn over mandrel, so there's no ridge inside there where they welded it. I'm going to give you a 5-inch length of this. I'm cutting mine 2.5. That wheel is 2 inches wide, a strip 2 inches wide, and I wanted to have about a 1/4 inch on each side beyond that for the piece that I'm going to weld on to hold the tire or the wheel. So I need to cut another one of these, and we'll get out there. We'll bring the wheels back in here and weld our hub in there. Okay, you see I've got the wheel setting on some 1/4 inch flats on both sides, which raises it up. So when I set my hub in there, it's a 1/4 inch below and a 1/4 inch above the wheel. Well, that's sure sticking out a lot for it. Okay, you don't want to dawdle while you're welding, because I think I penetrated a little bit, maybe not. You just don't want it to make the inside of that hub any smaller than it already is, because A 7/16 bolt is perfect for your axle. Let me go get the other one. For my wheels, the spacing and everything I am using, I got a 4-inch, and I think I was saying 5/16. It's 7/16 bolt. Or you could use a 7/16 rod and just drill holes through it and cotter pin it or something. I'm using a 7/16 bolt. Put a washer on it. You'll get 4 of these. Put your bolt through there. Another washer. Put it through your hub. Another washer. This, another one of those. Another washer. And then I'm using these for the nut. That way they will stay put. And you can adjust how tight you want it. Now, I'm not giving you the hardware. The bolts and the nuts and the washers. You're going to have to figure out how you want to do it and get that stuff yourself. But I just tighten it up so that it's, I wouldn't even call it snug. These fiber washers are kind of a pain because they kind of hard all the way on, hard to tighten. But then they're going to stay right where you leave them. You can see right there I've already got one put together. And basically what I did was I just stood it up, make sure it still spun okay and wasn't overly loose. Now those are ready to weld onto the base. Let's go get a base. This is the plate I made for the base of our leg vise. The original one was round down here just like it is up here. And I had problems with that round part in the center dragging on the ground when I was trying to move it. So I just kind of squared it off and put a radius on these two corners. There's 4 holes in it, so if you want to bolt it down to your floor, you can use a 1/2-inch anchor into your concrete floor or whatever you're using for your floor. I've got to lay that down and then get some square marks on it so that my wheels are running true with each other. And I'm going to put them as far to the back there at the bottom as I can, so when I tip it, those wheels will make contact with the ground and raise that base up off the ground, and we can move it real easy. Let me get it laid down and get some measurements. Cleaned off my welding table and put this up here where it needed to be. Okay, I'm up here where I could stand up and do this. I've put it 2 1/4 from this edge to this edge, and it gave plenty of room here for a washer and nut for bolting it to the floor if that's what I want to do. I've got it set in here. I use my little square I made, and it's square with the back and it's square standing up, so it's ready to tack into place. Now they're about 3 inches apart, that's good. Now let's see. And that's good, let's tack that one. Now I got the two wheels on here, ready to roll. Next step is going to be cutting the I-beam to stand up in here for the upright. Then I'll put the top on it for the leg vise to be bolted onto. This right here is the bottom foot from the leg vise. I set it on the floor and measured up to the bottom of the mounting plate up there, and it was 32 inches. Well, I made these donuts, and you'll be getting a donut. It's 1 inch thick, and there's a 1 inch hole in it. You may have to grind this down a little bit, or open this up a little bit to get it to fit in here. This in here fits. So that's going to add a 1/4 inch to the height. So now we're at 32 1/4. Let me write that down. But then the top plate for the leg vise is a 1/2 inch thick, so we have to subtract that. So now we're at 31 3/4. So I need to cut my beam, my I-beam that I'm going to use for my upright, to 31 3/4. I will check over my measurements, and then we will cut that beam off. I'm going to have beams of several different lengths, so have an idea how long you need, because some of them are going to be pretty close. Obviously this one here is plenty long. I've got to pick up some more of them from work. You will get one of these beams with your kit. Okay folks, there it is. You will get 2 of the wheels, 2 of the rims, a piece of DOM tubing long enough to make both axles. You will get 4 of your uprights to mount your wheels on. You'll get the base plate, you'll get the donut for your foot, for your leg vise, you will get a beam, an I-beam that you will cut to your length, and you will get the top plate tool holder. You will have to figure out where your holes go. You'll have to buy your own hardware, the bolts to mount your leg vise onto the top plate, and the hardware for your axles, and you'll have to come up with your own leg vise. I think that's it. I will bend these around my mandrel, but you saw how I used a ratchet strap to pull it tight onto the rim so it could be welded on there. It seemed like it rolled pretty good. That was my first try at it. I think that's it. You'll have to come up with the bolts to bolt it down to your floor, or let me get the stuff and explain a little bit more about the idea behind this. The idea behind this is just half of it. You'll need another for the other side. But this, you open that up, you can put it in one of the holes that I made for tongs, your tongs, and then you screw this into the ground right next to it. Hook this into here, and I think I welded this shut. I don't think it came that way. I welded it shut so that it wouldn't open up. And then you can use this turnbuckle and pull your vise to the ground. So now if you've went to a show, you know, to do demonstrations, you can fasten your leg vise down pretty darn solid. There's another video about the other one I made, and I had it out back. If I can, I'll try to find it and put a clip in here. Here we are out in my yard. I screwed those land anchors, whatever you want to call them, on each side there. This has got a hook on this end, the chain, and then I got one of those, I'm not sure what they're called. They're a link on here that's got the little nut that screws and keeps it held together so it won't spread out, open up. Out to demonstrations, you can bolt it down in your shop to the floor and then just unbolt it and take it to your demonstration. You can run these in the ground. Say you have to have it all in your garage and then you take it outside the garage to do your blacksmithing. You can run these into the ground so they're below the sod level, below your mower, and just leave them there. And then when you're going to go out and do some blacksmithing, wheel your vise out there, fasten it down, and you're good as gold, buddy. You're ready to go. I think this is kind of a cool idea. I'm trying to come up with different ideas for people for different situations that I have not seen. I haven't seen a leg vise or top like this, so you can put your hammers and your tongs around here when you're working, so they're handy at your leg vise when you're working on your leg vise. Hope to see what goes into just cutting this stuff out. The half-inch bottom, the half-inch here. I think the wheels, the rims are 3/16, and I believe this was 12 or 14 gauge that I made the wheel out of. And this is 3/16 steel, all plasma, CNC plasma cut. That's a 1-inch donut for the foot of your leg vise. Thanks for watching.